The champagne flute shattered against the marble floor of the reception hall, its golden bubbles exploding in a spray that soaked the hem of my gown like acidic rain. I stood there, frozen as heads turned. My sister's perfect wedding guests, their faces a blur of feigned concern and barely masked judgment. But it wasn't the glass that broke me. It was the seating chart, that damned piece of paper pinned to the entrance like a public execution notice. Emily Hargrove, table 12. Lone. Tucked in the corner by the service door. Far from the bridal party, far from family, far from anyone who might pretend I still belonged. My sister Sarah, radiant in her lace veil, arm linked with her groom, my ex-fiancé David, hadn't even glanced my way during the ceremony. The betrayal hit like a gut punch. They'd orchestrated this isolation, a final twist of the knife after stealing my life. Rage boiled in my chest, hot and unrelenting, mingling with the sharp sting of humiliation. How dare they? Sarah, my blood, the one I'd confided in during those late-night calls when David and I were falling apart. I'd told her everything. His distance, my fears, and she'd nodded sympathetically, only to slide into his bed weeks later. The family knew. Mom had called it fate. Dad had mumbled about moving on. And now, at Sarah's wedding to him, I was the pariah, the discarded sister forced to witness their bliss from the shadows. My hands trembled as I bent to pick up the shards, the glass cutting into my palm like a promise of pain to come. Blood welled up, crimson against my pale skin, and I welcomed it, a tangible hurt to match the invisible one shredding my soul. I straightened, forcing a smile that felt like cracking porcelain, and made my way to table 12. The chair scraped against the floor with a screech that echoed my inner scream. Around me, the hall buzzed with laughter and clinking glasses, the air thick with the scent of lilies and roasted lamb. Fairy lights twinkled from the ceiling like mocking stars, casting a soft glow over the dance floor where Sarah and David would soon twirl as husband and wife. I sat alone, the empty seats around me a deliberate void, my plate untouched as waiters bustled past. Heartbreak clawed at me, a raw ache that whispered of lost years, shared dreams now twisted into this nightmare. Why had I come? Denial, perhaps, hoping for a crack in their facade, a moment of regret. But there was none. Only this suffocating solitude. Then a shadow fell over the table. I looked up to see a man, tall, broad-shouldered, in a tailored suit that hugged his frame like it was made for intrigue. His eyes, dark and piercing, scanned the room before settling on me. "This seat taken?" he asked, his voice low, carrying a hint of an accent I couldn't place. Eastern European, maybe. I shook my head, too stunned to speak. He slid into the chair beside me, his presence a sudden anchor in the storm. "Act like you're with me," he murmured, leaning in close enough that I caught the faint scent of his cologne, sandalwood and smoke. "Smile. Laugh at what I say. They'll hate it." My pulse quickened, a mix of confusion and intrigue cutting through the fog of resentment. Who was he? A distant cousin. A friend of David's. But his gaze held no recognition, only a calculated intensity that mirrored my own brewing fury. "Why?" I whispered, my voice barely audible over the string quartet's melody. He glanced toward the head table, where Sarah was giggling into David's ear, her hand possessively on his thigh. "Because I know what it's like to be erased," he said simply, his tone laced with suppressed rage that sent a shiver down my spine. "Name's Alex. And you look like you could use an ally tonight." His words hung in the air, tempting, dangerous. I hesitated, my mind racing through fantasies of justice, imagining Sarah's face crumpling as her perfect day unraveled. But doubt crept in. Was this a trap? Another layer of their cruelty? Yet, as the toasts began with Dad praising David's integrity and Mom dabbing tears over Sarah's pure love, the obsession took root. I nodded, forcing a laugh as Alex raised his glass in a mock cheer. Let them see me not broken but reborn. The evening unfolded in a haze of forced normalcy, each moment laced with building tension. Alex was effortless in his role, his hand occasionally brushing mine under the table, a touch that sparked unwelcome heat amid my turmoil. We talked in whispers between courses, his stories of corporate betrayals and lost fortunes weaving a web of shared resentment. Betrayal isn't just personal, he said, slicing into his steak with deliberate precision, the knife glinting under the lights. It's a game. And games have winners. His eyes locked on mine, probing as if gauging my resolve. I felt exposed, my inner thoughts tumbling out in fragments. The nights I'd cried alone, plotting vague revenges that dissolved into guilt by morning. Was it wrong to hate my sister this much? To wish ruin on the man I'd once loved? As the cake was cut, Sarah feeding David a bite with exaggerated affection, I excused myself to the restroom, the click of my heels echoing like gunshots in my mind. In the mirror, my reflection stared back, eyes red-rimmed, lips pressed into a line of cold determination. The cut on my palm throbbed, a reminder of the blood oath forming in my heart. Back at the table, Alex was waiting, his expression unreadable. "They're watching," he said softly, nodding toward my family. Indeed, Mom's gaze flicked our way, laced with unease. Let them wonder. The dance floor filled, bodies swaying to a slow ballad. Alex stood, extending his hand. "Dance with me. Make it convincing." My heart pounded, a mix of fear and exhilaration, as I took it, his grip firm, guiding me into the crowd. Up close, his breath warm against my ear, he whispered, "Tell me what they did." The words spilled out in hushed fury. The affair discovered via a misplaced text, the family meetings where they chose Sarah's happiness over mine, the wedding invitation that felt like salt in the wound. His jaw tightened, a flicker of something dark crossing his face. Personal investment. Hidden motive. But the suspense built slowly, each step on the parquet floor drawing me deeper into his orbit. By midnight, as guests trickled out, Sarah approached our table, her smile brittle. "Emily, I didn't expect you'd bring someone." Her eyes darted to Alex, curiosity masking jealousy. David hovered behind her, his face a mask of false politeness. "Who's your friend?" Alex smiled, predatory. "Just an old acquaintance. Congrats on the wedding. Looks like you got everything you wanted." The subtext hung heavy, Sarah's cheeks flushing. I felt a thrill of power, the first taste of revenge stirring like venom in my veins. But as they walked away, Alex leaned in. "This is just the beginning. If you want real justice, meet me tomorrow. I have a plan." Doubt warred with obsession as I drove home through the rain-slicked streets, wipers slashing like accusations. Was Alex real, or a figment of my fractured mind? The moral conflict gnawed. Revenge would taint me, make me no better than them. Yet, the resentment festered, visions of their downfall fueling a cold resolve. Sleep evaded me, the night's events replaying in cinematic detail. The shatter of glass, the warmth of Alex's hand, the crack in Sarah's facade. By dawn, guilt mingled with anticipation. I would meet him. The pursuit had begun. The cafe was tucked in a quiet alley, steam from espresso machines fogging the windows against the autumn chill. Alex was already there, nursing a black coffee. His suit traded for a leather jacket that added to his enigmatic aura. "You came," he said, not surprised but approving. His eyes searched mine, peeling back layers of my turmoil. I sat, the wooden chair creaking under me, and demanded answers. "Who are you really? Why help me?" He leaned forward, voice a conspiratorial murmur. "David ruined my sister. Corporate espionage. Stole her ideas, got her fired, drove her to the edge. I was too late to save her." His words carried the weight of genuine grief, but a shadow of manipulation lingered. Was it truth or bait? My heartbeat echoed in my ears, anger surging anew at David's name. "We can expose them," Alex continued. "The affair wasn't his first. Have proof, emails, photos. But we need more. Your access to family secrets." The plan unfolded in hushed tones. I'd infiltrate Sarah's new home under pretense of reconciliation, plant doubts, gather evidence of David's ongoing deceptions. Suspense coiled tight as I imagined the fallout. Sarah heartbroken, David disgraced, the family fractured. But fear whispered, what if I got caught? What if revenge consumed me? Alex's gaze held mine, his touch on my arm electric. It's your choice, Emily. Walk away or fight back. Chose fight. Days blurred into a slow burn of preparation. We met in shadowed parks. His car a mobile war room filled with files and laptops. Each encounter deepened the tension. His casual brushes against me stirring unwelcome desire amid the plotting. Inner conflict raged. Guilt over betraying blood ties clashed with the obsession for justice. Fantasies plagued me. Sarah's tears, David's ruin, interspersed with doubt. Was Alex using me? His stories shifted subtly, hints of a deeper vendetta emerging. One evening, as rain pattered against the windshield, he kissed me, sudden, fierce. Pulled back, breathless. This isn't part of the plan. He smirked. Plans change. The moral gray deepened. Revenge intertwined with something personal, risky. But the pull was undeniable. Resentment fueling a cold resolve that silenced my fears. By week's end, the first move. A congratulatory visit to Sarah's. Her house smelled of fresh paint and false domesticity. David absent at work. I'm happy for you, I lied, hugging her stiffly. Her eyes held wariness, but she invited me in. As she brewed tea, I slipped into their study, heart hammering and rifled drawers. Flash drive bingo. Back home, Alex decrypted it. Financial irregularities, proof of David's embezzlement. This could destroy him, he said, eyes gleaming. Triumph mixed with dread. The suspense mounted. What next? As I lay awake, the weight of our alliance pressed heavy. Betrayal begot betrayal. Was I becoming the monster? The flash drive burned in my pocket like a live coal as I paced my dimly lit apartment, the city lights flickering through rain-streaked windows like distant warnings. It had been too easy, Sarah's trust, fragile from guilt, cracking open just enough for me to slip through. But now, with evidence of David's fraud in hand, the reality hit. This wasn't fantasy. Embezzling from his firm, siphoning funds to offshore accounts. It could land him in prison. My hands shook as I poured whiskey, the amber liquid sloshing over the rim. Obsession gripped me tighter, visions of their wedding photo shattering like my champagne glass. Yet guilt gnawed deeper, a moral conflict that twisted my gut. Sarah was my sister. Blood shouldn't spill blood. But resentment whispered louder. She'd chosen him over me, humiliated me. Cold resolve hardened. Poetic justice demanded balance. Alex arrived unannounced, his knock sharp against the door. He stepped in, rain dripping from his coat, eyes scanning the room with predatory focus. You got it. I nodded, handing over the drive. He plugged it into his laptop, fingers flying across keys in the glow of the screen. Perfect. Wire transfers, fake invoices. Enough to bury him. His voice held a thrill that mirrored my own, but a shadow crossed his face, fleeting. Hidden motive. I pushed it aside, focusing on the plan's next phase. Leak the evidence anonymously, watch the dominoes fall. We sat close on the couch, the air thick with tension and unspoken desire. Why me? I asked again, voice trembling. He paused, setting the laptop aside. Because you're like me, wounded but not weak. His hand cupped my cheek, thumb tracing my jaw. The kiss this time was slower, deliberate, pulling me into a vortex of heat that drowned my doubts. But as clothes shed and bodies tangled, fear resurfaced. Was this alliance or manipulation? In the afterglow, he murmured secrets. His sister's suicide after David's betrayal. His years tracking him. Layered truth, or calculated reveal. Suspense built in the quiet moments, subtle hints of his obsession emerging. A photo in his wallet, eerily similar to Sarah. Days turned to weeks, the slow burn intensifying. I played the reformed sister, lunching with Sarah, probing gently. David seems stressed, I'd say, noting her forced smile. Work troubles. She confided fragments, Late nights, arguments, each word fuel for our fire. At home, Alex and I plotted over takeout, maps of their life spread like a battlefield. His touches grew possessive, stirring a mix of exhilaration and unease. Inner thoughts churned. Revenge felt justified, but at what cost? Fantasies shifted from ruin to redemption. Maybe expose without destroying. But Alex pushed harder. "Half measures won't heal you," he said, eyes dark with resolve. One night, as thunder rumbled outside, doubt crested. "What if we stop?" I whispered. He stiffened. "After everything, they'd win." His rage surfaced, raw and authentic, or was it? A call interrupted. His phone buzzed, screen lighting with unknown. He stepped away, voice hushed, urgent. Paranoia spiked. Who was he really? I snooped his jacket, finding a burner phone with texts. "Target acquired. Proceed." My blood ran cold. Was I the pawn? Confrontation came at dawn, coffee steaming between us. "Who's the target, Alex?" "Me." He sighed, rubbing his temples. "It's not what you think." David crossed powerful people, my employers. Your pain was convenient. Betrayal anew, heartbreak lancing through me. But his eyes held guilt, moral complexity mirroring mine. "I fell for you, Emily. This started as a job, but now..." The confession hung, tense, as rain lashed the windows. Rage surged, layered with obsession. He'd used me, yet our shared wounds bound us. "Then let's finish it my way," I said, voice steel. We refined the plan. I'd confront Sarah privately, show her snippets of evidence, force a choice. Suspense coiled as I drove to her house, the suburbs blurring in gray mist. She answered, surprised, leading me to the kitchen where cookies baked, scent cloying. "We need to talk," I said, sliding photos across the counter. David with another woman, timestamps post-affair. Her face crumpled, denial flashing. "This can't be." Tears followed, confessions tumbling. She'd suspected but loved him blindly. "I betrayed you, Em. I'm sorry." Heartbreak mingled with triumph. Her pain echoed mine, but guilt twisted the knife. Was this justice or cruelty? As she sobbed, I felt the cold resolve waver, moral gray enveloping me. But Alex's text buzzed. "Leak now."
Well,
I hesitated, fingers hovering. Then David burst in, face thunderous. "What the hell?" He lunged for the photos, but I stood firm. "It's over, David. The firm's getting everything." His eyes widened in fear, then narrowed. "You bitch. You think you can?" He grabbed my arm, bruising. Chaos erupted. Sarah screamed, pulling him back. In the scuffle, the flash drive fell, skittering across tiles. David stomped it, shards flying. But backups existed, Alex's insurance. As police sirens wailed, Sarah's call, the tension peaked. David fled, tires screeching. In the aftermath, Alex found me at the station, wrapping me in his arms. "It's done." But the twist came via email. Anonymous tip to me. Proof Alex had fabricated some evidence. His employers a ruse for personal vengeance. His sister. Alive, estranged. He'd orchestrated everything, using my betrayal as leverage for his own obsession. David had stolen his fiancée years ago. Shock jolted me, fury reigniting. In our hotel hideout, I confronted him. "You lied." He nodded, unrepentant. "For us. We both got revenge." But the moral conflict shattered. His gray became black. As he slept, I slipped out, heart pounding, and leaked the full truth. David's crimes, Alex's manipulations. Poetic justice. Both arrested, Sarah free but scarred. Months later, at a cafe mirroring our first meet, I sat alone, the cycle broken. Resentment faded to quiet resolve. Betrayal's scars lingered, but so did growth. The stranger who'd said, "Act like you're with me," was gone, leaving a hollow victory. Yet in the mirror of my soul, I saw not victim but survivor, morally gray but unbowed.